This offseason has been going absolutely insane. A lot of quarterback carousel talk has been going around the league. It seemed like the biggest splash was going to be where Aaron Rodgers would be playing ball next year. There's obviously a lot of names of quarterbacks who might be getting a second chance, as well as the new quarterbacks entering the draft. But I had no idea that this would be the biggest news of the entire offseason. Just hours after an anticlimactic ending to Aaron Rodgers returning to Green Bay, there was a deal that would send Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos. Now, everyone and their brother is going to be covering this topic because it's so big. We can obviously talk about all the specifics of the trade, blah, blah, blah. But in the end of the day, I'm a film analysis channel. So we're going to get into the X's and O's and look at some film and try and get a grasp of truly how huge this trade is. We're going to look at some Russell Wilson film to see what he's bringing to Denver. Then we'll see what Denver has to offer him, and then what Denver has been dealing with the past few years. Then we can discuss what looks like the AFC West that even got more loaded, all the hype that just surrounded Matthew Stafford to the Rams that resulted in a Super Bowl. We can talk about the impact of top quarterbacks joining a team that is roaring and ready to go that seemed all but a quarterback away. There is a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. The first thing we talk about when we talk about Russell Wilson is what coined the phrase "let Russ cook," is when the play breaks down and he starts scrambling, magic happens. He makes some of the most outrageous throws I've ever seen, and this is something Denver's been desperately lacking. When he breaks the pocket, magic happens. You get so excited for the camera to pan over to see what he sees down the field, and we can see in the All-22 like this, when seemingly nothing is there, he always seems to make the right decision and just make magical plays on the run. And this is what he's been doing to Seattle for years now. In his 10 seasons, he's been a 9-time Pro Bowler, and he just makes plays happen to throw absolute darts when he's on the run. And this is something that Denver has been severely lacking because, like Jimmy G, like Carson Wentz, Drew Lock has been accustomed to, when he breaks the pocket, to commit absolute war crimes. And we're going to look at some of that film in a second where you can absolutely lose games, because this is a huge part of the NFL right now. And where Russell Wilson is the best at is when the play breaks down, when the offensive line isn't there for him. He can make plays like this happen. So let's check out what Denver's been dealing with the past few seasons. And like I said, when you see Russell Wilson break the pocket, you just expect magic to happen, but that is not the case for Drew Lock. And this is not going to be a Drew Lock slander video because Drew Lock has incredible talent. I think it's going to be a cold day in hell before they win a Super Bowl with Teddy Bridgewater. It would be the likes of Drew Lock with all of the potential he has, but this is what Russell Wilson is. It is Drew Lock fully uncapped and fully unhinged, and I would give away anything to get a franchise-changing quarterback like he does. Drew Lock consistently made bad plays and bad decisions when the play broke down, when the offensive line wasn't there for him. He was throwing off balance, throwing it right to the defense, and had some of the ugliest interceptions I've ever seen, not having good ball security when he breaks the pocket. And that's the thing with Russell Wilson. He doesn't seem to take many hits. And Drew Lock, when he goes out there, I mean, he just makes absolutely abysmal decisions like this. He does have an insane arm. He has good mobility. He has all these traits that you'd want, and one day you would hope he would turn into a Russell Wilson-like player. So people that are saying that the Denver Broncos lost this trade and Seattle won, I just completely don't understand, because you see plays like this, and these are game-changing plays right here. These are all turnovers. You're giving the defense the ball in tight games when it comes down to the wire, and this is a huge part of the NFL when plays are breaking down. You need to have quarterbacks like Mahomes, like Aaron Rodgers, to be able to make the most out of the situations, and this is what they're gaining with Russell Wilson. But also plays like this are things that aren't going to happen with a veteran-savvy quarterback like Russell Wilson. Now, it would be crazy to say that Russell Wilson has a top 3 arm talent in the entire NFL, because he doesn't. But it's not crazy to say that he has top 10. He didn't have the best receivers in the world like some other quarterbacks, but he had really good weapons like a Tyler Lockett, like a DK Metcalf. But what we have to acknowledge is he has the best deep ball in the entire NFL, putting it into a tight windows, throwing at all levels of trajectory. He can put it on a rope. He can put it right over the top. And when he goes it and throws it high, right into a bucket, right in the receiver's arms, this is where he is at his best, because he's not always looking to break the pocket. If the offensive line does hold up, he can step up in there, make an absolute dime of a throw, and he's so good off play action, so he can really run a system with the best of his abilities. We saw this early on in his career when he made the Super Bowl runs, when he wasn't the let Russ cook, but he was very efficient inside a system when he had a good running game, when he had a good offensive line, when he had a good defense, like he did early on, like Denver does now. So now adding everything that Russell Wilson has into this, and actually we need to stop right here and go over this play. Because if I were to highlight any single play from Russell Wilson's season last year that was able to encapsulate how good of a quarterback he is, it would be right here. Him and DK Metcalf, this is a concept that a lot of NFL teams run, but it's very hard, especially when there's not a lot of time. DK Metcalf has an option right here. He's either going to sit down, he's going to continue on a slant, or it's going to be a stick and go where he plants his foot and takes it upfield. And watch how Russell Wilson gets almost immediate pressure and he's able to process this situation. So as the ball snapped, Tyler Lockett is going to be his first read, but DK Metcalf is coming across the middle. The Lions send an all-out blitz, and right now Russell Wilson is loading up to throw it right here. And no, he's not hitting the flats right here because he sees a touchdown when almost no other quarterback in the NFL that isn't a veteran-savvy quarterback could. The DB and DK Metcalf have like 5-6 yards of separation right here, but he sees on the stick and go, the DB has the leverage going forward. He sees DK coming over the top, and being able to see this one, be able to have pressure in his face, throw it off his back foot accurately, and anticipate where DK Metcalf is going to be is what makes Russell Wilson so special and why he's going to be an absolute X factor for the Denver Broncos. And we're going to look at here in a second when we say Drew Lock consistently, he has the weapons. He has Jerry Jeudy, he has KJ Hamler, he had Noah Fant and some other good tight ends. He had a good offensive line, but we saw him consistently either make a misjudgment on trajectory or just flat out miss touchdown passes because his deep ball accuracy wasn't there. And off of play action, when he had pressure in his face, he wasn't able to handle it and he made really bad decisions with it. So let's check that out. And with Drew Lock, who has all this potential, who has all the arm talent, it wasn't always necessarily the accuracy, but it was just decision-making too. This ball should never have been thrown. There was no chance of this being completed. And it was even simple passes, like a 3rd and 6 with good protection. Just putting it on the receiver's back hip and plays like that are just bound to happen. Or just missing the trajectory when he puts it on a rope, tries to get in there. But this is a touchdown for Jerry Jeudy if he can put it over the top. Play action, pressure in his face, just is wildly inaccurate with the ball. And this is what we saw routinely, not only when he went to escape the pocket, but if he can put the deep ball over the top, JC Jackson isn't going to be able to get over the top. So the deep ball accuracy that Russell Wilson is going to have with his weapons like Jerry Jeudy, like KJ Hamler, who Denver is absolutely willing to look to reload with even more tools for Russell Wilson because they are officially an all-in destination. Denver's an amazing place to live. Look for them to make even more moves this offseason to put the pieces around like the Rams did with Odell Beckham Jr. and other defensive players like Von Miller, who has been very vocal about coming back. So Russell Wilson being the leader of the offense, Von Miller being the leader of the defense. This is the stuff you're gaining with Russell Wilson and the things you're losing with Drew Lock. And we talked about Russell Wilson being able to make plays when seemingly nothing was there, but almost equally impressive is rookie running back Javante Williams, who's going to be going to his second year, who can make plays like this happen when absolutely nothing is there. He had the most broken tackles in the entire NFL with not even close to the most amount of carries in the NFL. And with a thunder and lightning combo with him and Melvin Gordon, I just absolutely love this. This is very, very, very reminiscent. Maybe not the quality of Legion of Boom that Russell Wilson had early in his career, but Denver definitely being a top 5 defense, having an upgraded offensive line from Seattle, having about the same amount of weapons, but then adding a guy like this. I mean, don't tell me this isn't beast mode. I mean, no disrespect to Marshawn Lynch because he did his thing. He is one of one on another planet, but what Javante Williams was able to do for this team last year, being able to create these huge plays, being able to be the power running back with Melvin Gordon coming over the top with these long bust out the run plays, being able to create stuff when nothing's there in the run game and in the pass game is going to be huge for the Denver Broncos this following season. Now we can step back from the film and take a 30,000 foot scope of this entire situation in what Denver's getting. They're giving away some of their assets and players. Yes, I really don't think Noah Fant was having all that great of a season, but Tim Patrick is still a very viable tight end. I would expect them to bring in a lot more people, but they are getting a 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback who not only that, but is always super clutch. He is known to be one of the most clutch players in the entire NFL. Whenever he steps on the field with 2 minutes left, you can all but count for points going on the board. He's always been an MVP candidate through about the first 6 to 8 weeks throughout the season, and then let Russ Cooks really has to take over because they either have an even or a losing record, so he really has to start take over, taking more risks, which he wouldn't have to do with a better structure and Nathaniel Hackett at the helm with a very good offensive system. He's going to be able to run Nathaniel Hackett's offense very effectively and also create things when nothing is there, along with Javante Williams, who's going to do the very same thing. Jerry Jeudy, a very crisp route runner. Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, all great deep threats, all super fast receivers. I really think the run game's going to do good. Getting Von Miller back, getting the studs back on defense, and this is an all-in destination. Denver is going to be a great place to play, and they are in a great cap situation. With all these teams being negative $20, negative $40 million over the cap, the Denver Broncos are still sitting in the positive. They're going to be able to negotiate contracts, move things down the road, and bring in as many people as they want, because they are going to be competing with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Derek Carr in the same division. I cannot wait to see these guys go at it for all those weeks in a row. I cannot wait. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to be scared at all, because we saw the same exact thing with Matthew Stafford going into the NFC West with Russell Wilson, with Kyler Murray, and with that loaded 49ers team, but they went out and pulled it off. It is going to be a very competitive AFC, but now look for the Denver Broncos to have one of the most well-rounded teams with one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. And giving away all your future picks, expect those to be high 20s, low 30 picks. Expect the Broncos to have great success. They did the same thing with Peyton Manning. I know they got him off the free agency market, but bringing in a quarterback like that to a good team changes everything. He can put up huge numbers. Expect Russell Wilson. We haven't seen him since he had the Legion of Boom come into his full self with a team like this, and we are going to see it on full display with the Denver Broncos. But that's what I think about this trade. This is what I got when I watched the film of Russell Wilson and looking back at some old Broncos film. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Make sure to comment down below what you think about this trade, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I appreciate y'all so much for checking out the channel. I really do appreciate every single one of you. If you made it to this point in the video, go ahead and give me a comment down below to let me know. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for checking out, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.